They made millions of dollars on the court, but today some can't even pay their minor bills.
Wait, did you play LeBron James?
Yeah, we played on the same team for 3 years together.
From luxury mansions now in foreclosure to yachts snatched away by creditors, these NBA players have seen shocking financial meltdowns that would surprise anyone. But how does an NBA player go from signing hundreds of $million contracts to barely scraping by? Stick around as we explore 20 NBA players who lost it all. Trust us, it gets darker with every story. Number 1. Allen Iverson, the legend who overspent like crazy. Allen Iverson earned over $200 million in career salary and endorsements. That is the kind of money most people could not even dream of spending in a lifetime. Yet by 2012, he filed for bankruptcy. How does someone go from hundreds of millions to nothing in less than a decade? In Iverson's case, it was all about lifestyle. Iverson lived fast and large. He was the type of superstar who believed in enjoying every single dollar he made. Wild shopping sprees were normal. He would buy entire collections of sneakers in one trip, sometimes dozens of pairs at once. Jewelry was another obsession, and not just small pieces. We are talking about jewel-encrusted chains and rings worth hundreds of thousands each. On top of that, Iverson kept multiple cars, many of them luxury models that lost value the second they rolled out of the dealership. And then there was the entourage. Iverson was loyal to his people. He grew up with many of them, and once he had money, he made sure they had it too. But the problem with constantly paying for other people's travel, meals, and fun is that the bills add up quickly. The private jets, the hotel suites, the bar tabs, everything was on Iverson's account. By the time reality set in, the money was gone. His story became one of the most shocking examples of how quickly wealth can disappear when financial planning takes a back seat. Luckily for him, Iverson's lifetime deal with Reebok included a trust fund worth $32 million that he could not touch until he turned 55. Add in his NBA pension, and he has a safety net. Without those, he might have been completely wiped out. But if a legend like Iverson could burn through $200 million, what chance do average players with shorter careers have? Stick around, because the next guy is a player who turned down $21 million and called it not enough. Number 2. Latrell Sprewell, saying no to $21 million. Sprewell's fall is infamous. He was already known as a fiery competitor with a career full of controversy. But in 2004, he made the decision that defined his financial story. Offered a $21 million extension, Sprewell turned it down, famously saying he had a family to feed. That single comment made headlines around the world and painted him as greedy. The truth is, $21 million was not just enough. It was the kind of contract most players would beg for. But Sprewell's pride got in the way. Instead of signing, he gambled on his value and never got another deal close to that number. He still made nearly $100 million in his career, but poor choices soon followed. His mansion went into foreclosure. His yacht was repossessed. Lawsuits piled up. One by one, the luxuries disappeared. By 2025, Sprewell's financial reputation is still damaged. He is not bankrupt in the technical sense, but he never recovered his image or wealth. His story stands as one of the biggest examples of how pride mixed with money can be a dangerous combination. Number 3. Delonte West, from NBA floors to sleeping on the streets. Delonte West's story hurts the most because it shows how money alone cannot fix deeper struggles. West once shared the floor with LeBron James in Cleveland, and during his career, he earned about $16 million. That is more than enough to set someone up for life if managed wisely. But West was battling demons that money could not control. Mental health struggles and substance abuse chipped away at him after his playing days ended. Arrests followed. His personal life fell apart. At one point, heartbreaking photos surfaced of him begging for money on the streets, clothes dirty, face weary. The world could not believe a former NBA player was living like that. Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, even stepped in. He picked West up personally and paid for his rehab. For a moment, it looked like West might get a fresh start. But as of 2025, his financial stability is still uncertain. His story is a reminder that fame and money cannot always protect someone when life spirals out of control. Number 4. Antoine Walker, betting it all away. Antoine Walker had the kind of career earnings that should have made him untouchable. Over $108 million passed through his hands. But by 2010, he was bankrupt. What happened? The answer comes down to gambling, risky real estate, and living large. Walker was known for his love of casinos, where he owed hundreds of thousands at one point. Then came the 2008 real estate crash. Like many athletes, Walker invested heavily in property, but the market collapse wiped out much of what he had. On top of that, Walker kept an entourage and a lifestyle that drained his accounts. Cars, parties, constant spending, it all caught up to him. The bright side? Walker managed to turn things around somewhat. He became an analyst and later a financial advisor, using his own failures as lessons for young players. His story is a reminder that money management skills can be learned, but sometimes only after very painful mistakes. Number 5. Shawn Kemp, dunking into debt. Shawn Kemp was a powerhouse on the court. His dunks were unforgettable, and he earned $91 million in his career. But off the court, financial trouble was waiting. Kemp had multiple children with different women, and child support payments stacked up. Combine that with a lavish lifestyle, and the money went down fast. By 2009, Kemp filed for bankruptcy. Even today, his financial situation remains unclear. His story is proof that personal responsibilities can weigh down even the strongest athletes. Being dominant on the court does not mean you can escape the realities of life often. Number 6. Vin Baker, from $100 million to Starbucks. Vin Baker's story is tragic and inspiring all at once. During his playing days, he earned about $100 million, but alcoholism and reckless spending nearly destroyed him. By the time the dust settled, Baker had only about $500,000 left. His lowest point came when he was spotted working at Starbucks. For a former All-Star, the sight shocked fans, but it was also a turning point. Baker fought through his struggles, got sober, and started to rebuild his life. Today, he is an assistant coach with the Milwaukee Bucks. His story shows that even after hitting rock bottom, it is possible to climb back. Baker's fall and rise remain one of the most powerful reminders that wealth without discipline can vanish, but personal strength can still bring a comeback. Number 7. Jason Caffey. 10 kids, 8 mothers, endless bills. Jason Caffey made about $8 million in the NBA, which sounds solid for a role player. But his financial downfall came from personal choices that overwhelmed him. Caffey fathered 10 children with 8 different women. The child support obligations were enormous. Add legal battles to the mix, and the fortune did not stand a chance. By the time his career ended, the bills far outweighed the income. Caffey's story shows that personal responsibility plays just as big a role in wealth as contracts and endorsements. Number 8. Glenn Rice. Investment bricks and heavy bills. Glenn Rice was a sharpshooter who earned about $25 million in his career, but poor investments and child support payments left him struggling. At one point, Rice could not even keep up with payments as low as $1,600 a month. He eventually found work as a scout for the Miami Heat, which gave him some stability. But his story remains a warning. It does not matter how much you earn if the money is leaving faster than it is coming in. Number 9. Tim Hardaway. Real estate collapse. Tim Hardaway's story centers around the 2008 housing crash. Hardaway earned about $46 million, but much of it was tied up in real estate investments. When the market collapsed, so did his wealth. On top of that, he faced IRS debts. Taxes piled up, and his financial foundation started to crumble. Though Hardaway never fully collapsed, he learned how quickly real estate dreams can turn into nightmares. Number 10. Stromile Swift. Properties foreclosed, career shortened. Stromile Swift earned about $30 million, which should have been more than enough for a comfortable life. But multiple property foreclosures and legal problems drained his wealth. His career was relatively short, which meant he had less time to recover financially. By 2025, there are no clear updates suggesting he has bounced back. That makes his story one of quiet financial ruin. Number 11. Jason Williams. Legal trouble that cost millions. Jason Williams was one of those players who looked like he had it all. Over the course of his career, he earned more than $120 million. But in 2002, his life changed in an instant. At his mansion in New Jersey, Williams was showing off a shotgun when it went off and tragically killed his limo driver. What followed was years of court battles, legal fees, and massive settlements with the victim's family. The tragedy did not just end a man's life. It also destroyed Williams's financial security. Lawyers drained his accounts, while failed investments only made things worse. The former All-Star center went from living in luxury to facing money problems most people would never believe possible for someone who had made 9 figures. His story proves how one reckless decision can undo decades of hard work and wealth in a moment. Number 12. Larry Johnson, back pain and bankruptcy. Larry Johnson, once nicknamed Grandmama for his iconic commercials, was a star who earned around $60 million during his time in the NBA. He was strong, explosive, and one of the most marketable players of the 1990s. But a chronic back injury forced him into early retirement. Without that steady paycheck, his expenses quickly caught up. Johnson had 5 children and owed heavy amounts in child support. On top of that, medical expenses from his back issues piled up. By 2015, the former Hornets and Knicks forward was bankrupt. His story highlights how injuries in professional sports are not just career-ending, but can also completely wreck a player's financial future. Number 13. Kenny Anderson, $60 million gone. Kenny Anderson openly admitted he did not understand money when he entered the NBA. Drafted second overall in 1991, he made more than $60 million in his career, but financial literacy was never part of his game plan. He bought 8 luxury cars, a mansion in Beverly Hills, and wasted millions on poor real estate deals. Anderson had a habit of spending faster than he earned, and when the NBA checks stopped coming, the reality hit hard. By 2010, he had less than $150,000 to his name. Today, he works as a basketball coach at Fisk University, mentoring young players about the very lessons he learned the hard way. His story proves that talent and money mean nothing without knowledge of how to manage them. Number 14. Rick Mahorn. Modest earnings, big losses. Rick Mahorn was never the superstar of the league, but he had an impressive 18-year career as a tough enforcer. He earned $6.8 million, which was solid money for his era, but nothing like the superstar contracts of today. Unfortunately, even that did not last. Mahorn faced tax debts, mortgage defaults, and poor financial planning. In 2009, he was forced to file for bankruptcy, yet unlike many others, Mahorn found a way to rebuild. He became a radio analyst and later a coach in the Big Three League. His story shows that even when the money dries up, steady work and resilience can help a player climb back from financial disaster. Number 15. Dennis Rodman. Chaos on and off the court. Dennis Rodman was one of the most colorful and unpredictable players in NBA history. He earned $27 million during his career, but chaos seemed to follow him everywhere. His love of parties, wild spending habits, and constant battles over child support drained his fortune quickly. Rodman also trusted the wrong financial advisors, which only made his situation worse. At one point, he reportedly owed $800,000 in unpaid child support and faced legal threats. Today, despite his fame and championships, Rodman's net worth is estimated at around $500,000. For a player of his stature, it is almost unthinkable. But with Rodman, financial chaos felt almost inevitable given his off-court lifestyle. Number 16. Scottie Pippen. Bad contracts and worse investments. Scottie Pippen was the ultimate sidekick to Michael Jordan, a Hall of Famer who made $109 million in his career. But his financial story is a painful example of how even legends can make devastating mistakes. Early in his career, Pippen signed a contract with the Chicago Bulls that was heavily undervalued, costing him tens of millions compared to his worth. But the real damage came later. Pippen lost more than $20 million to a crooked financial advisor. He also got caught in a failed private jet deal that ended in lawsuits and embarrassment. Multiple divorces chipped away at his savings as well. Despite everything he accomplished on the court, money troubles followed him for years. Pippen's story proves that even the biggest stars are not safe from bad financial decisions. Number 17. Christian Laettner. Real estate disaster. Christian Laettner was one of the greatest college players of all time and carried huge expectations into the NBA. He earned around $60 million as a professional, but poor choices off the court ruined his wealth. Along with teammate Brian Davis, Laettner invested heavily in real estate. The problem was that the deals were risky and poorly managed. One by one, properties failed, lawsuits piled up, and foreclosures hit hard. Even his own home was repossessed. Laettner filed for bankruptcy and now runs a basketball academy, but his financial future remains shaky. His story is one of the clearest examples of how bad investments can wipe out even the largest fortunes. Number 18. Joe Smith. OnlyFans drama. Joe Smith, the #1 overall pick in the 1995 draft, made $61 million in his NBA career. But in 2023, his name went viral for a very different reason. A video surfaced of him discovering that his wife had secretly started an OnlyFans account. The scandal pulled back the curtain on his financial struggles, showing that Smith was far from secure despite his massive earnings. Years of overspending and poor planning had left him scrambling. Instead of living like a former top pick, Smith was struggling to keep up. The viral moment shocked fans, but it also showed how quickly money disappears without proper management. Number 19. Eddie Curry, scammed and saddled with debt. Eddie Curry was once seen as the next great big man. He earned more than $70 million in the NBA, but poor financial choices and outright scams destroyed his fortune. Curry fell victim to bad real estate deals and even trusted people who scammed him out of millions. At one point, he was sued for unpaid loans and faced foreclosure on his home. For a player with so much potential, the financial downfall was devastating. His story is one of the saddest, what could have been tales in NBA history, both on and off the court. Number 20. Javaris Crittenton, prison and ruin. Javaris Crittenton never had the long career of many players on this list, but his downfall is perhaps the darkest. After earning only a few $1 million in the league, he turned to crime. In 2015, he was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and sentenced to 23 years in prison. Unlike others who lost money through bad spending or investments, Crittenton lost everything through his actions. His career, his freedom, and his fortune all disappeared. His story is not just about wasted money, but about throwing away an entire life of opportunity. And that brings us to the end of today's video. The stories of these NBA players show just how fragile financial security can be, even for athletes earning millions. So, what do you think? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Let's Talk Hoops stories.